Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good. And you got a permit at all?
A lot of graffiti writers who have been bombing graffiti for a long time will all tell you the exact same thing. If you bomb graffiti for long enough,
you're gonna get caught.
And I'm here to tell you that's not exactly true. I've been a graffiti artist for over 15 years at this point, and aside from that one time when I got briefly detained by these random public transit authority guys in Melbourne, Australia, I haven't had any trouble painting graffiti myself with any authorities. And that being the case, and even though I'm admittedly not up as much as your friendly neighborhood all-city king, I've done my fair share of painting and getting up, so I wanted to share with you guys who might be interested how graffiti artists and graffiti writers survive in graffiti and how you can survive a long time in the graffiti environment. Now today we're going to be mainly talking about this from the standpoint of how graffiti writers who are writing illegal graffiti avoid getting arrested. I do want to make a totally separate but equally important video on how graffiti artists survive within their respective graffiti communities and kind of the graffiti code that they have to follow if they're gonna do that. So let me know if you want to see a video like that. But I should say I'm obviously not encouraging any illegal graffiti here. Graffiti artists and writers who paint illegally are taking on huge amounts of personal risk, and that is a choice that they have made for themselves. Today we're just looking at exactly how they do that and how they avoid getting arrested. Now let me start off by telling you the reason that so many long-term graffiti writers love to tell you that you're gonna get caught. And that's simply because they got caught, and they think if they got caught, everyone else is going to as well. But the truth is, a lot of the time, they've gotten caught in circumstances that were easily preventable if they had just done a few things a little bit differently. And the first thing I want to talk about is choosing your spots. The most elusive graffiti artists that you see painting full pieces on massive billboards, or, you know, the more trendy thing that's developed of rappelling down the side of buildings to paint your pieces like that, those graffiti artists aren't just going out and doing that on a whim. There is massive amounts of research involved in figuring out where you can paint a piece like that. Sometimes these writers spend literally months casing the joint, if you will, and figuring out where those spots can be seen from, what times of day things are busy, not busy, the state of the building they might be painting, is it abandoned, does someone own it but it's vacant. I'll give you an example. I've always been a little more into the freight scene personally. That's really where my heart lies in graffiti. So we'll talk about that a little bit. If a graffiti artist is figuring out where to paint a whole car, they have to know everything about the yard. They're gonna wanna know, is this a deadline? Is it a layup spot? Is it a yard that is connected to 6 or 7 different lines passing through, or just 1 or 2? They're also gonna wanna know, do cars go through there on the weekend, or is it just during the week? What times of day could they be moving cars around? Does the lot have active rail police there? Obviously, are there cameras? Where are they? And if they can figure all of that out and figure out a good time that they want to paint, they're going to be taking a good look at where their entry and exit points are as well. Now, I don't want to overlap too much with the video where we talked about freights and painting freights, so you can check that out if you want to see more. Another really important thing that graffiti writers try and do for themselves is making sure that they have the right equipment they're going to need. Now, that kind of goes along with planning, of course, but just as an example, if a graffiti writer knows they're going on a nighttime tagging mission, specifically tagging, specifically the street environment, something like that, this might be a typical 5 marker / mop setup that they're going to bring with them. A lot of them will pack a side bag or a fanny pack that will fit this stuff in it. They might bring something for small surfaces like railings, like a Pentel Shorty White, something a little bit tough like a Grog Metalhead, something metal for those rougher surfaces, right? A nice standard 10mm mop for any smooth metal surfaces. And again here, we're bringing a range of colors. You can't leave the house without the Mark All B. You know my thoughts on that. And lastly, maybe even a mini pocket can with a silencer on the bottom to keep it nice and quiet for those big surfaces or miscellaneous brick surfaces, that kind of thing. And who knows, if they're extra classy, they might want to bring their high quality custom vinyl stickers that they got printed for 10% off at turbovinyl.com by using the code SCIZ at checkout. You never know. But basically, thinking about what surfaces you're going to be writing on ahead of time and the environment you're in can really help graffiti artists, graffiti writers, make sure they're not overpacking and making sure that they can get out what they need very quickly when they're in a situation where they're trying to get some tags up quickly and get out of there. A massively underrated tip I can give that I know good graffiti writers follow is don't go bombing with randos. The best graffiti artists know that the more variables there are out there that they can't control, the more dangerous the situation they're in is. And they will either paint graffiti entirely solo or exclusively with their trusted crew members. Now, I know all you new graffiti writers and artists out there are dying to make your graffiti friends and whatnot, but that doesn't mean you can go out bombing with anyone and everyone. What are you gonna do when the first guy who asked you to go bombing, you're out bombing with him, and he's making all kinds of noise, throwing empty cans around the yard or off the bridge, whatever? What are you gonna do when you realize that they've been painting drunk or high for the last half hour? You're gonna draw a lot of attention to yourself, and at that point you're in a bad situation. So smart writers, in summary, like to control what they can control to give them a better chance of just being able to paint their piece in peace. Now, there are plenty of tips I could go on and on about here, but I don't want to overlap too much with the video we did talking about the top 5 smartest things graffiti writers do to not get caught. But I definitely do want to do another video about the kind of unwritten rules of graffiti that graffiti writers follow to help them survive within their own graffiti communities and, you know, not get in beef with other writers. You can check out the join button below this video or our Patreon page for exclusive content that you can get to help this channel stay alive. Thank you to those supporting. And on the flip side of this, possibly even more important, we did a video on the top 5 dumbest ways graffiti writers get caught. You might want to take a look at that. I will see you there soon. Peace.